All right, today we're diving into something that happened before you even had a heartbeat, but it's one of the most important moments of your life. We're talking about embryonic folding, the microscopic origami that turned a simple, flat disk of cells into the fundamental blueprint for, well, you. I mean, seriously, think about that question. At the very beginning, you weren't really a you at all. You were just a simple, flat, three-layered disk of cells. So how on earth does that become a complex, three-dimensional body with a head, a tail, and a tube for a gut? The answer is this beautifully coordinated process of folding. And you know what's truly wild? This entire transformation from a 2D disc to a 3D body, it all happens in about 1 week. Yeah, 1 week. It kicks off right around the end of the third week of development, and it's pretty much done by the end of the fourth. It is an absolute biological sprint that sets the stage for everything that comes next. So what kicks this whole thing off? This incredible folding doesn't just happen randomly. Nope. It's triggered by some really powerful and precise forces growing inside the embryo itself. So let's get into the drivers of this change. The main reason it all happens is a massive but uneven growth spurt. The neural tube, which, is going to become your brain and spinal cord, it starts growing incredibly fast. At the exact same time, these blocks of tissue called somites, the stuff that'll eventually be your spine and back muscles, are also forming super quickly. All this explosive growth is happening in the middle, while the edges are kind of lagging behind, and that creates this physical tension that forces the whole structure to change its shape. Really, the best way to picture this is as biological origami. Imagine you have a flat sheet of paper, and you could magically make the middle part grow way, way faster than the edges. What would happen? The sheet would have no choice but to buckle and fold to make room for all that new size. And that's pretty much exactly what's happening here. Okay, but this isn't just a random crumple. This folding is a highly coordinated event, almost like a synchronized dance. It's happening along two different directions at the exact same time. And this two-way fold is what creates the complex 3D shape that we need. So we call these the longitudinal fold, which runs from head to tail, and the transverse fold, which runs from side to side. The longitudinal one is what gives the embryo that classic C shape, while the transverse fold is what rolls it up into a tube. Let's break those down one by one. First up, let's talk about that longitudinal or head-to-tail fold. And wow, this is where we see some of the most dramatic changes. Future organs get completely rearranged. It's pretty amazing. It all starts with the head. Now, get this. It's going to sound weird. Before this fold, the tissue that will become your heart is actually located above your developing brain. I know, right? But as that brain region just grows explosively, it forces the head to tuck down and under itself. And this one single elegant move swings the primitive heart a full 180 degrees down into the chest cavity, landing right where it belongs. It's a total positional flip in just a matter of days. Incredible. Now, a similar thing, though maybe a little less dramatic, is happening at the other end. The tail fold tucks the bottom part of the embryo under. And this is so important for positioning the future lower gut and urinary system, and for pulling in the connecting stalk, the structure that's on its way to becoming the umbilical cord. Okay, so at the same time all of that is happening, the transverse fold is working from the sides. Let's go back to that sheet of dough analogy. This fold is like taking the left and right edges of the dough and bringing them down and together in the middle, rolling the whole thing up into a cylinder. And this side-to-side fold does something absolutely critical. As those sides pinch together, they actually trap a portion of the yolk sac inside the brand new cylinder. And that trapped part, that becomes the primitive gut tube, the very first version of your entire digestive system, from your throat all the way down. This moment establishes that fundamental tube-within-a-tube body plan. So, after this intense week of folding in two directions at once, what's the result? What does the after picture look like? Well, it's a radical departure from that simple little disc we started with. A body has truly started to take shape. This table just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's an incredible summary of the transformation. You can see the heart literally flips its position from above the brain to inside the chest. The body itself goes from a flat disc to a C-shaped cylinder. And the amniotic cavity, which just started as a layer on the back, now completely surrounds the whole thing, creating that protective, watery bubble. And this process leads to one of the most important mergers in our development. See, initially, there are actually two separate heart tubes, one on each side of that flat disc. The transverse fold physically shoves these two tubes together at the midline, allowing them to fuse into one single primitive heart tube. This is the moment the foundation for our single, powerful heart is laid. So why does all this microscopic movement matter so much? Because this week of folding isn't just about changing shape. It's about creating the fundamental blueprint for a human being. When you boil it all down, this single, week-long event establishes the basic body plan that every single one of us shares. It sets up our head-to-tail direction, it puts our organs in their correct relative positions, and it creates our internal gut tube. To put it simply, without this fold, none of the later stages of development could even happen. It just goes to show you that the most profound transformations can happen on the tiniest of scales, in the blink of an eye. It really leaves you wondering, what other microscopic miracles had to happen just perfectly to build the person you are today?